I'm Sailor Jerry, the dog trainer, and today we're going to talk about squirrels. If you live in a place like me, there's a lot of trees. So today we're going to figure out what really is with the rivalry between dogs and squirrels, aka twirly mice. At just the mere mention of a squirrel, my dog, squirrel, is going to go look. To understand more about why dogs want to chase squirrels in the first place, we have to understand what's the function of the behavior. And the function of the behavior for dogs is instinctual. Dogs naturally want to interact with prey animals. They're small, they're furry, they run really fast, they go up in the trees. They are designed to instinctually want to interact with those animals. Depending on the breed and personality of the dog, you could get different responses to squirrels. Some dogs are going to immediately go and chase and run, like my dog. Some dogs are going to be curious and playful, and some dogs are not going to be really interested at all. Today, with a little bit of help, I'm going to teach you about the canine predatory sequence. What is that? How does it serve and benefit our dogs? Do they need it?
We all know what a dog is doing when they're at the base of a tree circling. But how exactly did this relationship start? Well, dogs are relatively recent on the timeline of existence. Having been domesticated 15 to 30,000 years ago, did you know that squirrels have been around for millions of years? In that long span of time, squirrels have faced many predators, including wolves, coyotes, bobcats, and other species that are now even extinct. Along the way, one thing became certain for predators. They could find squirrels in trees and even some species on the ground. Squirrels are all around us, and it doesn't appear that they're going anywhere anytime soon. So let's talk a little bit about what happens to a dog when they see a squirrel. This is my dog Enzo. In our traditional middle-class American neighborhood, we've got trees just like you might have. This tree, though, is the mother lode. This is an oak tree, and it produces acorns, and we all know that a squirrel loves a nut. The first thing you're going to notice is that Enzo puts his eyes up. He's looking for that visual. He's also smelling a little bit, but for the most part, he wants to catch a glimpse of the twirly mouse. This stage is called orienting, where he's moving his body so he can properly see the squirrel. This is an example of the positioning you might see for a dog orienting to look at a squirrel in a tree. Once Enzo's oriented his body to be able to see the squirrel, he's now going to eye it and make sure that he can visually see it. I notice him moving around a lot when this happens. He's trying to get the exact best position to see the squirrel. You can also see how tense his body is and how ready it is to explode if given the chance. Looking back at our predatory sequence, we can see how once Enzo eyes the squirrel, he's going to go into stalking mode. This is something that you may have seen really pronounced in herding dogs like border collies. Having this part of the sequence enhanced helps herding dogs do their jobs more effectively. Back on the scene with Enzo, we realize that the canine predatory sequence is probably going to stop here. Unless a squirrel jumps down out of a tree directly into his mouth, he's likely not to catch one. What happens when a dog gets lucky or is just really fast and catches up with one of those squirrels? We're going to go through chase, grab and bite, kill and bite, dissect, and consume. This is the nature of canines. Outside the presence of humans, our dogs would need this canine predatory sequence to survive. It's so deeply ingrained in them that we need to make sure they can act out parts of this sequence whenever it's safe and possible. Just remember, when your dog sees a prey animal, they can't help what's going on in their body. Their body is designed to respond and want to instinctually interact with that prey animal. The sequence we learned about today is powered by the fuel of arousal. Arousal is a nervous system response that happens in your dog that prepares them for things like fight or flight. Learning more about your dog's nervous system in general, including arousal and fear and what that does to the body, can really benefit your relationship overall.
For a more in-depth look at some of the things we talked about today, make sure you check out my courses, Managing Arousal 2.0 and Managing Arousal 3.0. Those will be available at the link in the description. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, where you can learn more about your dog and hopefully yourself too. Squirrel.